this is unchanged propofol in milligrams in the urine as a function of time in this simulation. And I will tell you the scale is vastly expanded because the concentration at autopsy was low. So you can see this is 0.05, 0.1 milligrams of drug. It's not a concentration, actually. It's an absolute amount.
So the expansion of the scale
it makes
on the side axis accounts for the dotted line reflecting the amount in urine at autopsy being in the middle as opposed to the bottom.
Yeah, it's in the middle. It's actually above what you would have expected based on the fact that Mr. Jackson only received 25 milligram bolus earlier by Dr. Murray. It would be, as you can see down here, about 0.05 or slightly less. But with the administration of the additional 25 milligrams that we're speculating was self-injected by Mr. Jackson, you can see that actually the urinary level of free propofol increases rapidly and at the time of death would actually be almost identical to the value found in the urine at autopsy.
As a result of these two descriptions, I'm talking about VV, which is the bolus injection just before 12, and UU, which is Dr. Schaefer's infusion scenario. Which of those scenarios is the more reasonable to you?
Well, you're asking someone who's biased, of course, but I cannot understand how it's possible that he got a 3-hour infusion when the evidence didn't show the infusion setup and the fact that the elimination of the drug in the urine is completely inconsistent with the amount of propofol that would have been administered had Mr. Jackson received this entire bottle of propofol as suggested by Dr. Schaefer.
So you think it was the self-injection of propofol near the hour of between 11:30 and 12 o'clock that did it?
In my opinion, yes.
That first slow bolus, when would the effects wear off? How long would that have an effect on Mr. Jackson if it was an effect just from propofol and the low amounts of lorazepam that Dr. Murray thought was there?
Well, it would depend on the effect you're talking about. If you're talking about reduction in anxiety, the studies would suggest it could last for 15 minutes. If you're talking about sedation or any other particular effect of the drug on the central nervous system or the brain, it would probably be 10 to 15 minutes maximum. Of course, I'm assuming in giving you those times that there was not other centrally active drugs present, and we know for a fact that isn't the case because there was lorazepam in a high concentration. There was also a small amount of midazolam present. So just to clarify my answer, I was referring to simply giving propofol alone, not as part of a, quote, polypharmacy.
Okay, lastly. Dr. Schaefer said his scenario reconciled with all the facts in this case. I want you to tell, does it reconcile with Dr. Murray's statement?
No.
Does it reconcile with the physical evidence found at the scene?
No.
Does it reconcile with the urine concentration found at autopsy?
No.
The scenario that we have up here, does it reconcile with Dr. Murray's statement to the police?
It does with respect to the dose that Dr. Murray administered. I don't recall if he commented on the possibility that Mr. Jackson had self-administered, so I have to carefully check that report.
Does it
But in other respects, it does, yes.
Does it reconcile with the evidence found at the scene?
Yes, it does.
Does it reconcile with the urine evidence provided by your reconciliation?
Yes.
I have nothing further, Your Honor.
Mr. Flanagan, thank you. May I see counsel, please? And pursuant to our And Dr. White, thank you. What we're going to do is we're going to ask you to step down, and I'm going to order you to come back at 9 o'clock a.m. Monday morning without any further order, notice, subpoena. Of course, remember and please follow all the admonitions about not discussing your testimony or any other aspects of the case with any other witnesses until we finish the trial, and you may step down. What I'd like you to do, if you wouldn't mind, is you can step down right now and just have a seat behind counsel, and then you'll be able to come and retrieve the materials. Yeah, if you could move the bottle. Right. let's have the, Mr. Flanagan, I don't know what we did with that. That's 30. So we need to have 30 put back into the envelope, which Mr. Flanagan and Dr. White are doing. All right, sir, thank you. And you can retrieve those matters in just a little bit. Well, you know what I'm going to tell you right now anyway, ladies and gentlemen, no big surprise. With the agreement of the parties, and in fact at their suggestion and urging, and with my agreement as well, this is an appropriate time for us to stop before a cross-examination. We still have some other aspects of the case we have to discuss. So let me deliver to you these important admonishments and instructions. Of course, it's a weekend, so you'll have the whole weekend to ponder the significance of your responsibilities. Please do not discuss among yourselves or with anyone else any aspects of this case, the testimony, the evidence, the parties, etc. Don't form or express any opinions about the case until it's submitted finally to you. Don't visit any scene or location that may have been referenced, mentioned, or involved in the case. Don't perform any experiments. And on your own or through another person, don't conduct any independent research or investigation on any topics, subjects, or persons mentioned or involved in this case. This means not viewing, listening to, or reading anything about this case, including anything on any television or radio program, newspaper or magazine articles, or books. Have no contact whatsoever with any internet websites that concern any topics or subjects mentioned or involved in this case, including but not limited to any search engine sites such as Google, Ask, or Bing, or social network sites, including but not limited to Facebook or MySpace. Nor should you text or tweet or access any blogs or post any messages on any sites regarding any of these topics, subjects, or persons. If anyone tries to communicate with you regarding any of these matters, approaches you, starts in a conversation about any matters, immediately cease any such communication or contact and notify the court staff. Once again, as I've said repeatedly, and I'm sure you understand, this case will be tried based upon the evidence presented in this courtroom. It will not be tried upon anything else outside there in the universe, and I see so many of you are shaking your heads that you clearly understand these responsibilities. Don't have any contact or communication with the defendant, the attorneys, the witnesses, or spectators as well. Do all of you continue to assure me that you will follow unhesitatingly the written admonishments as well as my continuing verbal admonishments? All indicating the affirmative. Please enjoy lunch. Excellent Chinese food, and we do have plenty of vegetarian choices as well. And what we're going to do is we're going to ask that you join us at 9 o'clock a.m. this coming Monday morning. We are past, and certainly you know it, and I do it as well, the date I told you your services would be over, but I know all of you understand that things happen in cases, and I really do thank you so much for your continued dedication to this case, and I recognize the sacrifices you're making. So please continue to hang in there and enjoy your weekend, and we'll see you at 9 o'clock a.m. this coming Monday morning. Have a good one. Good day, good night, good weekend.